Hey guys, Brian from PhoneArena here, and today we're going to take a look at the new HTC EVO Design 4G. The EVO Design is the latest in the EVO family. This makes the fifth member behind the original EVO, the Shift, the Flyer, and of course the EVO 3D. This is really the true successor to the EVO 4G. It is a little bit smaller, but the EVO 3D kind of went down a different path with the 3D capabilities, but this one is a little bit more in line with what the EVO was. The display, is a little bit smaller. It's only 4 inches. However, it's QHD. It's a Super LCD panel, so it's the most pixel dense panel that we've seen from HTC yet, and it's beautiful. It looks very sharp, very vibrant. Did wash out some in direct sunlight, but for the most part we had no problems reading it. Looks really good. As you can see, it's running Sense 3.0 here. Nothing new, same exact thing we see on the EVO 3D and on the recently reviewed Maze 4G. It only has a 1.2 GHz single core processor. It's the Qualcomm Snapdragon S2 instead of the S3. However, everything moves on it really quickly. You can see you got the nice little carousel action, all these 3D effects. Are really nice on the phone. There's no real slowdown, no real lag. So even though it's got the slower processor, or the single core processor we should say, we didn't notice much of a performance difference. Our quadrant score standards were a little bit lower. They were in about the 1800 range, but like we've said many times in the past, those numbers don't necessarily mean anything, and on the field test this is right up there with those other devices. In terms of design, this is really not like the other devices out there. We like this way better. This is one of HTC's unibody designs, and we are just very, very fond of these. They're some of the best design devices out there on the market. The front, of course, is the big black slab, but on the back we see our nice little black brushed aluminum with the HTC logo etched in there. It's not just a sticker that's actually engraved. We've got our 5 megapixel camera up here with the nice mirrored housing and the LED flash, and then the single speaker. You can see this is where the only part that pops off. Here we have the micro USB card, and then we also will find the battery and the SIM card. This is a world device, so you've got full connectivity around the world, so this is a nice alternative to the Photon, although that is a dual core device. We probably turned it off when we popped the battery there. But around the phone, you simply have the volume rocker over here. You can see the up and down. And you got a 3.5mm headset jack and the power button. And then you can also see there is a front-facing 1.3 megapixel camera right next to the speaker grill. The other side's completely flush. Would be nice to see a camera key on there, but we're not going to knock them too hard for it. And then, of course, we've got the micro USB charging port. But this phone just feels amazing in the hands. We can't say how much we like this. It feels great. It's one of those sizes that we think will hit the money spot for a lot of people. You know, with this little bit smaller 4-inch display, it's just a little bit more accessible, a little bit easier to hold for hands of all sizes. And with still the QHD resolution, everything looks really good on the device. Since this is Sense 3.0, you've got the great new lock screen here. Let's go ahead real quick and check out the internet and just give you a feeling of how the browser performance is. See, we've got our page loaded here. Everything works very smoothly. We can double tap, we can pinch to zoom, it's going to flip with us when we rotate it. So everything works really nice on here. Page load times are very good. Of course we're connected to Wi-Fi right now, but on 3G, on 4G, we didn't really have any issues. That performed just as well as any other devices. And we've got one of our nice ads popping up here. It's going to kind of take us away. But the HTC browser is one of the better browsers out there in terms of at least stock browsers that you can get. We like the window abilities. We like some of the options that they give you. And overall, it just performs very fluidly, very smoothly. You can pinch, and of course, you get your windows. If we wanted to add a new window, we can do that. Everything else is pretty much stock HTC. We've seen it before. There's nothing really new to say. One of the things we do like, there's not a whole lot of Sprintware on here. There's no programs installed that aren't either Sprint or HTC, and a lot of those are uninstallable, at least the Sprint ones. Something like the NASCAR or the some of the other Sprint things you can take off if you don't want it. It is not a Sprint ID device, which is also a nice thing. This is a really good phone overall. We're just very impressed. The camera quality was only so-so. Some callers had some issues with the voice quality, although they didn't have any problems understanding us, so while not the greatest out there, it's not going to hinder your conversation. It's just going to be kind of an annoyance. Battery life is pretty good. It's rated at almost 8 hours of talk time, so that's not too bad for an Android device. We do have to say we accidentally left 4G on one night, something that would have for sure killed our original EVO because there's no 4G service at this particular location. This thing only drained about maybe 30%, so much better battery maintenance. The battery is basically the same one found in the EVO, just slightly different, only 20 milliamps bigger. So overall, this is definitely a winner. At $100, it's a steal of a phone. You've got full world connectivity, you know, quad band GSM and then CDMA here in the States with 3G and of course 4G. This blows the Samsung Conquer out of the water in terms of that affordable 4G phone. They come in at the same price, but while the Samsung build quality was really good, this build quality is some of the best out there, just period. It doesn't matter if it's a budget phone, if it's a Sprint phone, it's just this is one of the better designed devices out there at all. And the display just is absolutely gorgeous. It's way, way better than the Samsung display. A little bit faster processor, you got some more memory, and overall this is really a winner. If you're not looking for the best of the best, this is a device that should really strongly get your attention. And honestly, if this had a dual-core processor in it, we'd be talking about this phone right up there with some of the other greats like the Amaze 4G.